Wednesday, February 13th, 2019. It is currently 35 degrees and very windy in Cumberland, Maryland. If you cannot tell by the clouds here, I'm situated in western Maryland, right about here, and we can just see the wind howling over top these mountaintops. Now, according to my weather station, we have received 3.18 inches of rain already this month of February. We're only halfway through, so we're well over 1 inch of the average. So this is 2 months in a row already. Last year we had a total of 66 inches and for the whole year, and our average is 37 inches. Also, there's a bunch of power outages locally in western Maryland, and yeah, as you can see, quite a few areas. Ice storm a little bit higher up in the elevation. So that leaves us with 4 days in a row of snow. Yeah, woke up with snow on the ground. And we're over the annual or the monthly average already. Here is flooding up and down the Mississippi River, just like I said last week if you watched my video last week. So there's that. Now, we're going to start off with this morning. Okay, this is over Texas, Louisiana, over the Gulf states, really. We had a lot of interference. Start off with, here we have little donut shapes all around this transmitter in Texas. I believe San Antonio and Fort Hood. Now, when we take a look at the visible feed, we'll notice that at this point in time there is no clouds there. Clear sky, okay? Which, you know, that tells you a lot, because what this is, it's particulate getting picked up by the radar. When the sun picks up over the morning, after this nanoparticulate being trapped under a temperature reversion all night, it picks up a charge, the sun hits it, and makes it highly visible on the radar. Watch this in motion. You can see how these radars, you can see the energy go from right to left as the sun comes up. And we're also getting interference right here in Louisiana. Now this is most likely from the pave pause unit, this part of the space fence, and the panhandle of Florida at England Air Force Base that is causing this interference. And then this next rad in Houston, I am most certain that they've already upgraded this to the phased array units that they're supposed to eventually upgrade all the next rads to. So, we have all this energy being released right now, or yeah, this morning, or yeah, and right now. What this does is it rapidly changes the density of the upper atmosphere. Now, here we have where all the next rads are in this country is the green dot. The yellow square is superdarn. These flags are parts of the space fence. Now, space fence works high up in the atmosphere, and it has a lot of power. Your next rads are going to work lower in the atmosphere, and then your superdarns work, I believe, up even a little bit higher than your space fence. And then, of course, you have your lasers and all kinds of other devices. But these all work in conjunction. Okay, now the space fence is obviously in action because we can see it pick up on the next rads. Next rads are picking it up. Now this is what's called interference. Interference picks up other devices that transmit at nearly the same frequency as the next rad. So it is heterodyning. They mix two frequencies together to get an optimum frequency and release that energy there. So now that we got that going, now we got the Go 17 up on the College of DuPage page. But I like this now because now we can get a good view of the Pacific Ocean and what's feeding us in the United States. Now we're going to notice right here how smooth this is this morning. It just clears out right where all this interference is, and it was clear like I showed you. And then we're just going to go through. Here it is off the coast. See feeding in. See our ship tracks. I picked this man because you can see the ship tracks real good. Now these are coming up from the ground up. This is your lower stratus clouds. Okay, so this is shipping pollution. And yes, they are doing this intentionally. They're engineering the ship fuel to create clouds to make them brighter, to reflect sunlight. Now here is the cirrus band. This is your higher clouds. Okay. Now we'll go earlier, right as the sun comes up. We'll see right there where all them donut shapes were. There is no clouds there. So that's just how, when it's a clear sky, it's not actually clear. There's still pollution there, obviously, because it's still getting picked up by the NEXRADS. NEXRADS is telling us there's something there, and there isn't. And there's also interference spikes coming out, I believe, from the Melbourne, Florida transmitter right here. You can see these spikes working on this, and this moisture just blowing up right here in the Gulf out of nowhere, like someone was telling me. And yeah, you just notice how nice and smooth it's cut off right there. But yet, there'll still be an explosion of water vapor that will continue to feed as it goes up. So we're looking at the cirrus clouds. Well, yeah, look at that. This is all left by airplanes over the center of the country. That's called cloud seeding. Okay? Because these are not overshoots from freaking thunderstorms. We can zoom in, take a closer look, and you can see the planes go by and leave their little trails everywhere and seed the hell out of Texas. Texas is a pretty big state too, ain't it? Look at that. Delicious. Now, we're going to continue. A friend on Facebook, Brian Dean, sent me a photo of Marina, Arizona today. Look at this. Okay. You can see this. See this? Now we're going to go take a look at what it looked like from below. Or from above. See it? See all the zappage, all the interference patterns, all the frequency sound wave patterns, whatever you want to call it. And you can, I could probably pinpoint where all the power plants are if I slowed this down and really paid attention. Okay. Now, another thing I wanted to get into today is, we looked at the power outages. We don't need that. Oh, I did need that. Okay, but anyways, I didn't really need it. What I want you to notice is right here coming off of the Rocky Mountains, we have this mass area of wind farms. Because these play a very important role in our country's weather modification, or we'll call it climate control system. Okay, so we have so many different facets to our climate system. One is being where these wind farms are located. These are very crucial. Where I'm up here in the high mountains in the Appalachia, right here along the Continental Divide, where this moisture comes off the mountain It's perfect. And you know what we're starting to see right in this general area more than we haven't never seen before is tornadoes. And super high winds. These winds are ridiculous. And these can do, like, they can work in conjunction because they put off a frequency to this and work with the next threads. And you may have even heard it like in the mainstream about a thumping, like every so many turns it shakes the ground. Now this has a lot to do with your fracking earthquakes too, because they're pumping all that same crap into the ground as they're pumping into the air. So when these wind turbines spin every 3 turns and discharge, it thumps the ground, ionizes the ground, and ionizes the sky. So, what else do I want to get into? About our climate control system. So you have airplanes going over top and seeding. You have power plants all across the country. We'll just load and map. And then out in the ocean, we have ships. And then we have all the EMF devices. Now this isn't all of them. I just put in the space fence, super darn, X-rad, and lasers. Okay, so we got that. And this isn't even all the Doppler radars. There's probably like twice as many Doppler radars. But here soon, supposedly they're supposed to put them all into one, called an MPAR, multifunctional phased array radar. But I don't know if these old ones are going to still remain operational or what they're going to do with them. I would highly suggest we make sure that they are decommissioned and tore apart. But that's just my thought. So we can even see all the wind farms light up all through here. We can see this one next thread shooting up with its pencil beam constantly up here, heating this area. Now this is, you know, here we got a digital ping signature over Southern California, so that lines right up with all that zappage we seen. See it right there? All the zappage we seen in Arizona. And surprisingly, California's been getting rain. I mean, you know, when I look at this and you look at it in motion, and you know that there's, because some of this started out, Hawaii got one hell of a storm. So it's starting whatever was left of this, which they smashed it out, caused them high winds. Basically, it got 191 mile per hour winds in Hawaii. Snow and all that. But it's almost the same thing. Now, I'm happy we got to go 17 now, because if you're on the east of the Rockies, most of our weather sets up right here off the southwest coast of Mexico, because of how they divert. They try to, at least. Now, I'm not saying they have complete control over the climate. They don't. But they have systems set up over the land to pretty well control the flow for the most part. Over the country, they have their computer models, which tell them, you know, what jet fuel to burn, how high, what routes planes should take, etc., etc. When the power plants should do their blow-offs, which routes, you know, all this. It's all guaranteed put into a computer. You know, like you have your Canadian model, your GFS, and all your different models. Take a look at that. Well, here's the GFS. Okay, and we can see right here in the beginning, right where all that interference was this morning, right there. So you'll move, and it moves right over to that paved pause over Florida. And then, if this is right, but it's awful far ahead. The southeast ain't looking too good here, right? Yeah, right there at the end of the month. But, you know, that's awful far ahead. That don't look like a pretty storm right there. But that's the 27th, so. Anyways, covered that. Going up. Above and below. Oh, here was something I found interesting. What has Russia spotted in Earth's upper atmosphere? Scientists say satellite detected unexplained explosions of light in cloud-free skies. While numerous examples of unusual space weather phenomena have been spotted in the upper atmosphere before, the team operating the Lamosov satellite say what they've found may be something entirely new. Now, I like what Mr. Christopher Fonte, I don't know how to say his last name, Luminous Plasma Events. He runs a Microwave Planets page. Okay. Luminous plasma events such as ball lightning is a product of increased power density and interference of electric wave guides in our upper atmosphere. Alpha wave modulation via ionospheric heaters can mimic cosmic ray explosions and emit gamma/X-ray radiation. So he's just saying this may be something, because that's kind of what I thought, because I even ended it with that it may be a product of an ionospheric heater, because we're talking about space weather, and that's what your ionospheric heaters, they work up in the ionosphere, obviously. But anyways, covered a good bit there. Hope you somewhat understand what I was trying to put down about all the power plants. Here's all your power plants. Basically, all of them except your solar plants can assist in weather modification, whether it's intentional or accidental. Here's all your shipping traffic, which is, you know, what we're seeing right here, all these crosses on the lower stratus layer. And these wind farms, they work as well. When all this moisture comes off the Rockies, they're helping ionize and guide it, and along with all this stuff. So there is a system in place. They get their models and their say they got their GFS model, so they start working away with all these other computers. Most of this stuff's ran on computers. Your aviation traffic's ran on computers. It's all ran on computers, and they just type it all in, and they start seeding, ionizing, guiding, etc., etc., until the next model comes in. Then they punch it in over and over and over to get, for the most part, get their flows down and deliver the barrels of water where they want the barrels of water to go. We'll take a look at the mimic map, see if there's anything showing up on the atmospheric rivers here, because we've been, it's looking like it's going to take a while to load. So, hell with it. It was a longer video. I hope I covered a good bit, because it looks like hell. We'll check back in at a later date.